Hello and welcome to Fashion Report Friday, the weekly video series trying to get you the most MGP humanly possible from the Mandeville Gold Saucer every week on a Friday when the Fashion Report minigames judging begins. This then is week 255, and this time around the clue is none other than might makes right, which is quite difficult to say quickly, so I have to say it slowly. The individual clues include Bone Wicker Bow Wow for your helm, True Linen for your body, Iron Fist for your hands, and Tippity R Hat for your legs. In this video, we have a 100 score and the easiest 80 possible. Without further ado, let's get to that 100. Alrighty then, for my 100 score this week, this is what I did. Basically, any helm in the game can be bone wicker, so basically any of the rolls for the bone wicker helms, which of course you can get from the Swallow's Compass dungeon back in Stormblood. This is obviously an endgame sort of dungeon for level 70, so bear that in mind, but you can unsynchronize this or unrestrict this as they now call it, go in there and get the helm of your choice. However, just bear in mind whatever helm you choose is also going to set in place the role that you're going to choose for the rest of the items on today's 100. So bear that in mind. I went for the Rogue and Ninja one specifically because of the chest piece I chose as well. So any of the Bone Wicker helms will work for gold this week. For the chest then, as I mentioned, we've gone for a Rogue and Ninja piece here to match our helm. This is the True Linen Jacket of Scouting. This is something you can craft, but basically any of the True Linen jackets and coats will work, as well as the Night Steel armors as well. So this includes True Linen robes of casting, healing, that sort of thing, and then for the more tanky side of things, the Night Steel armor of fending, Night Steel mail of maiming, etc. And that also applies to the augmented versions as well. So choose whatever role out of those options will go with whatever helm you chose. For the gloves, the best in slot item is the Emperor's New Gloves. This is something you can acquire from Mordona, from a vendor there once you have done some quests. This essentially is an item that glamours away the visibility of gloves without actually removing them. This item is incredibly cheap and is equipable by all classes level 1 and above, and is vendor purchased, making it the best item. Alternatives that should work include the Pagos field dressings as well, as far as I know, but I have not tested those as this is so easy to get. And finally, for the legs, I went for the R-Hat Hakama of Scouting. This, again, is something that you can obtain from a set amount of dungeons. I went into Kagane Castle. I believe you can also go into the Alamigo dungeon, and this will drop in there as well. And again, it's going to be dependent on the other items you get, obviously whatever role you've chosen. I went for the R-Hat Hakama of Scouting because I went for the ninja gear for both the Bone Wicker helm, the chest, and here we are for the legs as well. But basically, any of the R-Hat Tsutsu Hakama of like fending, maiming, striking, or the R-Hat Hakama of scouting, aiming, casting, or healing will work. Just basically dependent on your role. And that's the 100 score. It's quite heavy on doing dungeons, so let's move on to the easiest 80 possible, which I can assure you, you don't have to do any dungeons for. Okay, for the easiest 80 possible, this is the selection of things I went for. So basically I went for 4 dies and 1 item. This was probably the best solution considering the other slots would have been taken up with items that were locked to certain jobs. So of course, as you can see here, we've got the Emperor's New Gloves, which is the item that can be purchased from a vendor in Mordona, which most of you will have access to, equipable by all classes in the game level 1 and above. In fact, you can purchase this item, I believe, at level 50, so it's quite easy to get to that, including on the free trial, which is important. And then the dies that we've gone for here, of course, include Snow White on the helm. We've got Bark Brown die on our chest piece. This is any chest piece and helm in the game. Any legs in the game, we've dyed those Mud Green dye, and any feet in the game, those are Ice Blue dye. If you combine those relatively simple to acquire dyes with the very easy to acquire gloves, you can get an 80 score guaranteed, which is the minimum required for the maximum MGP of a week anyway, which was 50 plus 10, which is 60,000 MGP base, without obviously you putting things on like your free company buffs and things like that, and personal MGP buffs. quite effective, quite easy, and doable even on a trial account. That pretty much nailed. Anyway, much love. Thank you so much for watching Fashion Report Friday. Have a great week ahead of you in the holiday season. I hope everyone's keeping nice and warm in these sub-zero temperatures, and I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye.